Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the
Everybody
procedure,
stay calm.
everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm.
Wait.
Everybody calm down.
Oh, I hope I haven't upset you. Bongo head!
Oh, I should be resisting this, but I'm paralyzed with rage and island rhythms.
Yeah, way to play the boss's head like a bongo, Homer.
He's getting a pretty good sound out of that guy.
And that's for employing me for 8 years! Ha
You asked for more Simpsons clips, and there you go. Yeah, we didn't get struck down last time, so I thought I'd try my luck and try it again. And considering tonight's topic for the stream, I thought that was an apt video. I love that clip. I love that era of The Simpsons. I want to play more of that. And we're joined today by the one and only Smiling Bandito. How you going?
Hail and well met. Going very well. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, good. I finished off a little drawing that I was hoping to finish off last night. You know, I did that while I was listening to Liam's stream. And you were on there last night.
Oh yeah.
And you were on there, I don't know, a couple of nights back or something. And in case anyone doesn't know, Liam is like far ahead in his work, and he's just kind of, but he needs to still stream to, get his face out there and everything. He's been building this Bridge of Peace in some Conan game.
Conan Exiles.
And
yes.
Conan Exiles, yeah. And I mean, so it's just like, for a couple of hours a night. Well, it's a night for me. I guess it's the morning for you guys or whatever in the day. And, I've been drawing and just watching him, play this game, building this bridge, and you fight people in it, and he at one point he attacked a giant crocodile, and last night his bridge got attacked, and all these people came and destroyed it and tore it down. And it was this big epic finale. I felt like I was really enjoying it. I was actually thinking I'm going to stop. I got to go to bed because I got to get up early to start drawing again. And I was riveted. I was stuck there. I was had to watch to see the great conclusion. And it was just. I said to him, I said, man, like this was a great entertaining thing to watch. Like the narrative, the whole building thing. Everyone was hanging out. Of course, it's a stream. Everyone's telling stories along the way. And then, the big build-up, and then the climactic finish. And then he even added an epilogue at the end. I liked where he goes and gets himself killed by a turtle. I said to him, if you do this again, I'll definitely tune in because it was a lot of fun. I know a lot of people here I see in the chat, went on that journey with him as well.
And it was a journey. I mean, it had
an entire
hero's journey.
It did. That's what I said to him.
Yeah. He was in his comfort zone, got out of his comfort zone when he was trying to get past some obstacles. He definitely died a few times, had to figure out how to eat, how to survive. And at the end of the day, no matter what he did, it didn't matter because, there was too many people coming against him. Thankfully, real life isn't like the video games.
Well, life does imitate art, as we have found out, you and I, Bandito. But before we get into that, let's go and say hello to the wonderful people who have decided to join us today. We have Mr. Jim Cox here. He says he's trying to copy off Mo Biggs. Mo Biggs is not copyable, I'm afraid. But good luck. Good luck, Jim Cox, and Godspeed. Catholic Neutral is here. There's the man himself, Mo Biggs.
Hey, Papa.
VIP. Yes, hello, Papa. Yes. Black Rose Comics is here. Skip Edwards is here. And Skip Edwards asked me, was the bridge built on false promises and then burned by not reading scripts?
That is a different bridge, and one that's maybe a little bit more personal.
That's a deep cut. It's a deep cut, but I said to him it was built on broken dreams, Skip.
There you go.
Fantastic to see Jason Black in the chat.
Yeah, I haven't seen him for a little while now.
Yeah, I've seen him around, but there's so many streams now. It's it's hard to keep up with everything. Mitch is here. Hey, Mitch, how you going? He says, "Hail, everyone."
Great to be seeing him more regularly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Shane Burgess is here. He says, "I hope all the wrenches are doing well." Yes, we do have the infamous wrench chat. Lama Giganti, great to see you again, my friend. He says,
Always,
"Hey everyone." Stefani Renee is in the house. Stefani just tweeted out he's been doing a drawing of some weird gorilla thing. It's got all the weird stuff on it. Yeah,
the Darwin monster.
I tweeted out something because I remember we were talking about this the other day, saying, in comic books, you can be rewarded for just putting out really just weird, bizarre stuff. Whereas if you do that in other art forms, you'll either just come off as pretentious and not commercial. Or, if you try and do it in movies, they don't want to do that because it's too risky. But comic books is where you can actually do that stuff. It's like, that's so cool that Stefani is using the medium as it's intended to be used.
It's funny that the mainstream has totally moved away from that and only become more safe in how they represent their characters.
Yeah. Stick them in a diner. Dark Gift Comics is here. He says, what's up, peeps? We have Replicator asking, am I wearing pajamas?
I thought maybe you were a lumberjack. Yeah.
I'm wearing a shirt. I have many different shirts that I wear to work. And I haven't worn them lately because of the lockdown. I've been working here in the cottage.
Michael, everybody has shirts that they wear to work. Typically, many different shirts that they wear.
Okay. Well, anyway. So Mel said to me the other day, "Oh, I noticed you only wear t-shirts anymore. Is that because you don't fit in your shirts anymore?" Ooh. So now, that's the gauntlet dropped, isn't it? That's the gauntlet thrown. So now I have to bring out all my shirts and prove to her that I still fit. I still fit in my
including your pajamas.
No, they're not pajamas. There is a thing in it. Look, there's buttons and stuff. If I fell asleep in this, that meant I was blind drunk.
I thought maybe it was your lumberjack gear or something like that.
It's make me look like I'm a very physical man, as opposed to the stuck in front of my computer man that I am. Ibar Ideas is here. Great to see you, Lord Finatra. God, we're nearly 10 minutes in and we're still saying hello to everyone. Not that I'm very grateful that you're all here. You need to be acknowledged. Felix Haas, great to see you. Professor Murph is in the chat.
Yeah, we saw Liam.
Leroy is here.
Yeah, and Liam was here as well.
Oh, Liam is here.
Yeah, we mentioned his purge and he decided to.
His ears were burning.
Yeah,
he felt it. He felt a disturbance in the force. Oh yes, there's a lot of Blue Samurai is here, and he's here as well. Hello, Blue Samurai.
Thank you. Hello.
Hail, Blue.
How's it going?
I know I did see you earlier, Blue, but I was just like on a run, and you know how it is. I know you do like to get through, get into the meat of the show.
I know how you don't feel about me. It's okay.
Liam he's asking, is this about my purge? Well, no, I mean that's kind of what got me thinking about it. But I thought we'd lead into that, and then we'll talk about actual can real
or is he bulimic? What's going on?
No, he
Conan Exiles.
Conan Exiles. Apparently, there's this thing in that game called a purge where all these people come and attack what you've built. And it's called the Purge. And Liam had not really built his bridge as like a bridge of war. It was a bridge of peace and friendship and togetherness. So of course, the hordes came in to destroy it. That's what I'm saying. Art reflects life.
Hi, Replicator. Tatsunami.
Hey, Rob. Oh, Rob is coming on tomorrow. Rob is launching the book tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be very exciting. We're going to have a launch party. It's going to be great. I'm going to claim all of the new backers because that's just what I do. Vicious is here.
He's going to use us, right?
He's shaved his head and everything into the proper mohawk. I mean, it's legit. He looks like a genuine
ready for
dwarf about to go into battle. Junior Ruiz. No, he looks like Zangief. He said he looks like Zangief from Street Fighter 2, if you're familiar with that character, and he really does. Just minus maybe the muscle definition.
And all? No, okay. Well, if you're not going to commit to the bit.
Yeah, Rob, why didn't you just, work out for 7 years?
Yeah. Take a few steroids, get yourself into the mold.
Rob is telling me I should retire my shirt. Look, if it still fits, it's not getting retired. There are between, just you three and maybe Rob. There are a couple of shirts that no longer fit.
Oh,
So
We won't
anyone that
tell
still
anyone.
fits,
Some
Yeah.
some of them fit. They just fit differently now.
it's sort of like they fit more like this, you know. It's a
Lumberjack
different look. It's a whole different look.
Lumberjack
VIP.
shirts are for husky boys.
Is it VIP or is it hello Tatsunami? Is it VIP or is it VP or VIP?
I say VIP, but it probably is VP, isn't it? I don't know.
VIP?
He's used to me saying VIP now anyway, so I'm not going to change it, I don't think.
Shane Burgess and Professor Murph are here. Awesome.
Mo says
Yeah.
he'll watch tomorrow if I promise to have Rob muted the whole time.
Hmm.
That could be a hard sell. That could be a hard sell.
Maybe it's the way to sell Rob's book.
Lama Giganti, if the shirt fits, you must acquit. Now, it is good that it's the three of us here right now. Can you imagine why?
Mutual enemies.
Mutual enemies, indeed. Let me...
Mutual evil.
Well, I like Joe. I like Bandito. I don't see why we can't have 4.
Well, Joe is on Pontificators, I believe, but I don't think Joe was involved in what we're talking about. Jose Garcia says, listening while working. Oh, working on Replicator Cross Kozor fan art. Well, make sure you tag us in that when you
Yes, please.
share that. That's
Awesome.
that sounds very cool. Dean is here saying it's the Three Stooges. Great to see you, Dean. My fellow man in tree love. Apparently, Dean loves drawing trees. A man after my own heart, as it were. Did you guys see my my trees?
No.
I shared. I'm going to share this now. Let's get into this now, just before we jump into that other thing. I shared this earlier. I said, background, sweet manna from heaven. So this is what I was drawing last night while Liam's bridge was being destroyed by marauders, but he was I said he was chopping down trees, and I was drawing trees. It was the circle of life. So I was
Why is
drawing
that
some
one
trees
window open and the rest of them aren't.
over here.
I don't see
Over
them.
here,
Yeah.
because variety is the spice of life.
Right
Blue.
on. Okay.
And you know, some people they open their windows and some people don't. It's
Well, I
a
thought it was
mystery.
a prison.
It's not a. It's not, that is a
It
nice
looks like a
looking prison.
library or something.
Oh, those are bike racks out front. Okay, I thought that was like fencing. All right, sorry. No, that's not proportionate. That
It's-
wouldn't be fences.
Yeah,
They're too short.
no, they're This is a little.
Bancroft is trying to go through his art, and you're like, these fences. Let's get into the minutia of these.
Actually, those fences are pretty
bike
short.
rack
But they're not. They're not like. Oh, that's not a full fence. That's a
You know
couple
me
thing.
well enough by now. I'm just saying random crap, right?
He likes to get under my skin because he knows I get a bit flustered when
Well, it's warm
he
and
starts.
cozy under your skin. That's why I,
I know,
like it.
I know. Yeah, but anyway, I
How are the
posted that. I was drawing trees. Kimasabi pointed out that our boy Dean here loves to draw a tree. Where is that?
Oh,
Where
I
is
see a
that?
trigger warning. So for those who are sensitive to that.
So yeah. Oh yeah, because people, you post that you love drawing backgrounds and you're into drawing backgrounds. People they look at you like you're some kind of weirdo. Trees are the
An
best.
arborist. That's perfect.
A different love of trees.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's some of Dean's trees. I'm not sure what Dean's book is called, but there you go. He likes drawing the trees as well. And then I shared some trees that I had. Where were my trees?
On his
them in
picture
here.
there, what was kind of coming around the corner there? Look kind of.
Oh, let's go back and have a look. I don't know.
There was something like, what's that on the side there?
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
There's a
It's
a spider,
Spider. It's a spider. It's a spider.
and there's a krakoom.
Krakoom.
Where there's krakoons, there's
Spiders.
other things. Yeah.
Yeah, but how are his fences?
Hopefully they're tall enough for Blue. So I said I shared some trees that I'd prepared earlier.
They don't
So I
have to
shared
be
a
tall
bunch of
unless it's
trees.
Actually, a prison. Then they have to be tall.
I enjoy drawing trees. I really do. It's you can't make a mistake with a tree. I mean, Blue could probably find some if you really looked hard enough. But it's like it doesn't really matter if you do. You just draw them and there they are.
I remember that thing about the cars. Why do you have the trunk of an elm with the leaves of an oak and that kind of stuff?
All right.
Okay. Moving on. Oh my.
Stefani says 80. I guess that's dollars. That's the way Europeans write dollars. $80 to get to 10K. Wow, that's fantastic.
He has had a fantastic campaign. He is getting it out there, advertising it right, and showing lots of great artwork for it. So
yeah, remember I was so worried because he'd done the 60-day thing and he had such a high goal, and then we were all worried about his shipping, but what fools we were. What fools we were. He knew exactly what he was doing. So congratulations to Stefani, and I'm sure it's going to keep going. I mean, it doesn't look like it's slowing down. Look at Skip. Bitter. Skip has become so bitter. It's what it is. I haven't shown up to his streams lately, so now he's come on to try mine.
Why you gotta
it's
be
not.
like
I think no, it's not personal. We've just decided as a family that after work we're going to go out and do like a family walk, and then we're going to have dinner early and get everyone calm before bed.
Did you invite Skip to that?
I didn't.
See, now we're
he's
getting
streaming at that time.
So you got to put a laptop on your dinner table where Skip can, be part of the family.
It seems like every interaction that he's had with me has just been rejection after rejection. It's
why you got to be like that?
It's all starting to make sense now.
Is it because you're ashamed that you love his book?
I had it open, or I went to go continue writing my script that I'm working on, my one shot, and it was sitting right there in the recently viewed. It was Skip's script, and I looked at it, and then I just went to my script again.
I really enjoyed Skip's script.
I heard you and Kimasabi.
Yeah.
And others undoubtedly. Tatsunami says, "Don't be bitter, Skip." Yeah, I think that's a good way to handle it.
Skip will come around. He's a good guy.
Hopefully we haven't lost him. So, let us talk about a man.
You bring that up. I'm going to go grab some coffee.
An art man. In fact, he has art in his Twitter handle. He's a professional. No, not that cool. I mean, this guy's a good artist. Don't get me wrong. He can art with the best of them. He's a professional artist. But he's in the mainstream. I think he works for DC, or at least that's what I saw. His name is Mark Brooks, and Bandito brought him up a little bit on Liam's stream last night. They were talking a bit about what went down, and that's why I was saying it was good that the three of us are here on the stream together, because it was eventually the three of us that we got in our first little Twitter scuffle. Not that we scuffle. I mean, we were well-behaved gentlemen.
I thought so.
I was wondering if I ruined it for you, so this will be good.
No, I mean, I think the statements he made at the start were actually probably pretty disingenuous, and he was never really interested in having a conversation. He just wanted to signal to everyone, oh my God, it's so impossible to talk to these guys, but I tried, and this is why you can't talk to them. For context, I see a tweet. I don't know who responded to it. Someone responded to it. I see a tweet out there saying, I just had an hour-long conversation with a CG guy. He's since deleted it. You can see at the top there. I just had an hour-long conversation with a CG guy. He was full of anger and vitriol. And it all just
Did he delete it?
It just ended exactly. He did delete it. It ended in exactly the way I thought it would. Him saying, "Fuck you," and rage quitting, and like these guys are all the same. It's rotten all the way down. Essentially, was the whole purpose of the tweet.
Only Rot 10 Glory is rotten all the way down.
Yes, proudly, I think.
All 10 layers.
And what caught my eye initially was this guy at the top saying they also seem to know diddly squat about comics. Mark comes back and says new readers know diddly squat as well. I don't hold that against them at all. It's the vitriol and gatekeeping that I have a problem with. That's us.
Yeah.
We're vitriolic and we gatekeep. I really think
our
they
name.
misunderstand so much about comics, and that's why I was like, like, you know, that's what caught my eye initially.
Are you, before we go on, because I remember how this actually started in terms of deleted tweets, are we going to deliberately omit who started this with the deleted tweet? Or do you just not know?
No, it was Mark. It was Mark. It's Mark's deleted tweet. He deleted the original. He didn't delete any of the others.
But no, this is a reaction to a prior conversation that somebody else had.
There's a deeper lore.
Yeah, this was Donnie Cates getting on saying, I'm going to go annoy some comic skaters, and then within an hour and a half saying, oh, you just can't deal with them. I'm the
What?
victim.
This was all Donnie Cates' fault?
And then this branched off of it.
Everything
Now, I'll go
goes
look that
back
up.
to Kate's.
Oh my goodness, this guy.
I'll go look that up while we really focus on Brooks.
Yeah, sure. So this guy here, Honeymoon's Over. This is the character of the whole interaction here. So this is the first one I read from him. He said most of them are interested in comics through YouTubers. So that's it. Like we don't know anything about comics other than through, you know, Ethan and whatever. And
YouTube is their gateway.
Yeah. And CG is full of YouTubers who were told them that comics used to be good, but the SJWs are killing them. So they're misinformed before even entering the fandom. And it often shows when they can't back up basic arguments. So that's where I was like, what? We've met a couple. Poland is one of them. I have, we've met a couple others, but the overwhelming vast majority of people in CG are people our age or a little bit older, who've been reading comics, for decades, decades.
Well, since at least the late 80s. I don't think I know, or at least the 90s. Everyone that I know in Comicsgate has been a fan since the 90s of comics. And all of them, whether they started in the 90s or a little bit later, have collections that go back to the 90s. So they've gone back and gotten the back.
Yeah. Well, I wrote here, I started
Can I be
reading.
Michael Bancroft?
Yeah, go for it.
Why do you presume that CG is made up of fans who are new to comics? I've only been reading them since '93, but in my experience, most comics gators have been reading comics since way before then. Make their arguments from that perspective. I think
very close. Yeah, very close. Very close. I mean, it was actually it was better than Shane Davis's impersonation of Ethan. That's for sure. Very good, very good. So it looks like Blue has found something. I'm going to pull that up.
This is Sierra Whiskey posting screenshots of way earlier than Brooks got involved, of how it all started.
Oh.
Yes, I remember talking about this. Now, this isn't some of the juicier ones that he tweeted.
No.
But I remember this started it.
Yeah, so 7:07 p.m. Love in wherever this is in the world. 7:07 p.m. we have whispering, I guess, because it's in parentheses. Love tweeting about CG, so more of them come out of the woodwork for me to block. All right, that's obviously saying I'm going to bait them, so I know who to block. All right, enough of that. This is an hour and 11 minutes later. Enough of that nonsense. I don't have time for these guys. I don't have time for these guys. That's amazing. He is complaining that he doesn't have time for us when this was something he initiated. Anyway, I have books to promote. Back to your and then the pretentious. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay. Next, there's a third. And 12 minutes later, love you guys, his own fans, I guess. Sorry there's been so much vitriol on my page lately. It's unclear if he's referring to people coming at him, but he tends to play victim anyway.
Oh, no, he wouldn't be referring to himself.
Yeah. So you think he's referring to his own words?
No. He wouldn't be referring to the words he puts out. He would be referring to people responding. He's like, I'm sorry, all this negative energy is around me.
Okay. I'm going to try to make an effort not to engage with these people anymore.
See,
This is 83 minutes after he engaged. Okay, I want my page to be a positive place. Well, then make it one. Anyway, not been great at that lately. Your fault. Sorry about that. Good. Apologies.
Summon Satan, Lord of Darkness, to make my page more positive.
So, there we are. This is what started it that eventually led to Brooks chiming in.
There was a lot of between this one, Blue, and this one, because I was there. There was a lot of juice.
Oh yeah,
coming from Donnie between these two. This is a lot of the whole like shitting on Ethan and arguing and all that good stuff.
You know what's fun is I don't need to defend Ethan. He could do that himself.
This is true. Yeah. He's a big kid. He has a lot of pies. Yeah.
Hold on one sec. I'm just sending a link
to Ethan.
No, not to Ethan.
To Donnie Cates.
Yeah.
Maybe Donnie wants to come and spiral at us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spiral at us. So this person says they could simply write and draw comics and stories they want to see, referring to us. To which I responded, unless you want to read it again, Bandito. I don't know how well that went down.
Where are we at?
Comicsgate. Oh no, you can just read the I mean bit.
Comicsgate could simply write and draw comics in stories they want to see. I mean, that's what we've been doing going on 3 years now. I'm pretty sure that's a good
yeah. So this blinded follower was like, "Oh, cool, I'll look into them." But then this guy, honeymoon's over.
Yeah, this guy, honeymoon's over.
This guy starts up over 100 shit books, poorly produced and overpriced. Every single person in CG is an idiot, a scam artist, or both. If they had any skill, they would need to beg YouTubers to promote their work. Their work would just sell, like good indie books do every month.
Ooh, Adam Friended jumped in.
Yeah. He pointed out what we were all thinking. It's bizarre in this whole thread talking about how bad CG is when all the insults seem to be coming from the mainstream comic side. Why is that? Well, I think mostly just from this guy. This guy was the big
right.
The guy who was spitting the most bile. I was just kind of pointing out, there've been some issues, but I said, the top 10 CG books, I'll put them up against the top 10 mainstream books any day.
I'm beginning to think you don't appreciate my my impersonation.
It's just a little slow. We're already halfway through you're the quick talker. Or are you a quick talker? You're a bit of a slow talker.
No. I'm pretty slow.
And I said it's a.
Everyone says so anyway.
I said it was a weird flex on our ability to promote and sell our books when I'm a total nobody and I passed $30,000 on mine.
This was the one that got me involved.
Yeah.
Where I started to jump in.
This is how they look at us. Congrats on sucking Skyvy's toes enough to get some quick bucks. Hope you don't fuck your backers like a lot of CG scumbags, but it's no big deal if you do. He said my comment was the stupidest shit he's read all day. Seriously, you're here begging people to take your movement seriously. You know it's been falling apart for a while now, and you also know you cashed in any hope of ever making it as a real professional for quick hate bucks now. Don't whine about it to me, kid.
And Adam and Friended and I apparently agree, because this is where I jumped in, saying pretty much the exact same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I like that. Hey, grab some popcorn. Captain James Biggins says, to most fans who invested time in the movement of Comicsgate, it was a consumer movement, but some people scammed, lied, or used their fans against other customers. That absolutely did happen. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, there have been issues, serious issues. Some of them, potentially big enough to bring us down, but they haven't brought us down. But, I think there are still enough people out there really trying to to make the best of this extraordinary circumstance we find ourselves in. Johnny Rando, I did not suck on Skyvy's toes. So I don't know how they taste,
like
but I am, yeah, probably. Tatsunami says over 25 CG books, not disappointed so far. Yeah, I've got a bunch of fantastic books from CG, but we all know there's been issues, but like the way this guy's describing it. Now,
well, and the thing is that Comicsgate goes after those issues. Like, it's not as though there's people skating by as they're grifting, people in this community. If something happens, if people are not fulfilling, or we get some issue like Brett Weiser's or, books that are 2 years late or something like that, it's called out. Nobody's getting a free pass.
Yeah, I had a long brain dump with a newer CG creator today where I got permission. I hope I didn't overstep my permission. And just here's all the crap we've learned, and just typed out a bunch of bullet points and included some of those. Little something happened. Here's what people are scared of. Present yourself this way, not that way. And it's here's how to time your campaign relative to your book being printed. And there are reasons why that we have that advice, is because we don't want a return of any of those issues, or better yet, we don't want the customers and audience to suspect that those issues are going on when they are not. We've learned.
Johnny Rando likes to hear you having a spiral. He likes the thought of that. He wants to see what that looks like. And Gusto points out, absolutely, yes, mainstream is all sunshine and rainbows. Exactly. There's nothing going on there. So anyway, going back to this guy, I just reached out. I said, look, this is a total, long shot. I don't know you. You don't know me. He'd called CG angry and vindictive. So I said, I can guarantee I'm not that, but I have a channel. We do nightly streams. I'm not looking for a debate or drama, just a discussion. And he said, thanks, Michael, but I'm going to have to decline. I'm really not interested in it enough to get into a CG channel, and I've never seen them turn into anything but a dog pile. Best.
And I think he actually says it quite clearly right there. He's not invested in it enough to get into a CG channel. Yeah. His investment isn't about trying to make this better. Right?
Hey, Camel Moon, Salute Soup, I got a message for you.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
What's that line that Kurt Russell says? It's like, hell's coming for you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see you changed your name to Salute Soup, and that was because someone asked, post your Indiegogo link in the thread below, and I, unaware that Camel Moon has copyrighted this expression, which no one's ever said it before. When saying, "Hey, I'm your guy," I dared to write, "I'm your Huckleberry," because that's something that he.
I brought it back.
How long has
Tombstone?
How long has Tombstone been? I love Tombstone. It's one of the most quotable movies ever.
Yeah, and I quoted it, not you.
And he accused me of plagiarism, and said, "What are you going to do? Come up with a new book called Salute Soup?"
And here we are.
Welcome, my friend.
I am retaining the copyright for that as well. So let's see what you can do now. Yeah.
Here's Captain James Biggin says, if bridges are to be rebuilt, then both sides need to do that and let go of what was going on that burned the bridge and work together. Sure, money is made, but CG needs to continue. Now, this is a point. This is the whole point of this discussion that we had on Twitter. This was me reaching out to this guy saying, I hear, you've had a bad interaction with someone. You're obviously coming from it from the opposite side. Let's get together and let's just have a discussion. I said to him, kind of like a Joe Rogan. It's not a debate. It's just, we sit in front of each other and we just talk about how we see things. And I said, it can just be you and me. We can forget the chat, because I know he was scared of the chat. Yeah. And I said, I won't read any super chats until you're gone. And it all became clear very quickly that no, he was never actually interested in building any bridges. He had his mind set up. He had his mind set. He knew exactly what he thought of CG, and it didn't matter what was presented to him. It wasn't going to move. And then he was going to turn around and accuse us of exactly that, of saying we're intransigent, we won't budge. We don't listen to reason, and we can't be changed.
Well,
that's what he's accusing us of.
Yeah, and when
we get to my tweets with him later, but by the end of this, I'll point out how just in the language use, the way he uses language, you can see that that's readily apparent. Even though it's at the end, it's just who he is.
Yeah, and when we didn't rise to that bait, as he was trying to continuously say that this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who you are, and when we didn't represent that, his vision of it, he just said, well, this isn't the place to have a conversation. And it's like,
why not? Well, then what is the place?
Well, that's exactly it.
Oh, I offered him the place.
Exactly.
And then
a train station somewhere.
He said no. Yeah, Liam has it exactly right. SJWs always project. So this guy here, who I presume is a fan of his, or some, like he's not, he's not. He doesn't come off like an SJW or anything. He just said, "I thought you actually wanted to get through to someone. I mean, wide open door right over there." Yeah. And then he just goes on about, how he's having heard multiple people go onto CG podcasts and get talked over and dogpiled by shit posters. It appears the doors are for us to come in and be harassed. I don't see any upside for me in it for me. Sorry.
He must have been talking to Donnie Cates, who probably had a different version of his phone call to Ethan.
Did he edit it? Did he re-edit it and post it as what really happened?
Yeah, probably.
Shaheen changed that.
Oh my goodness, that guy.
That's hilarious. Talk about trying to create your own narrative.
Mitch says, thank you. Thank you, Mitch, for $2. He says, Bancroft doesn't get super chats. Yeah, well,
What don't you get about
I take them. Thank you so much, Mitch.
Don't you understand
good
about
point.
super chats?
Oz, I'm not wearing my pin because I haven't received it. Apparently there are 2 in the mail and they're still not here. So I will be wearing it when I get it. So there you go. Yeah, so he's got his mind made up that this is how interactions with Comicsgate go. And he says, my assumptions are built off the history of other guests. Even if it's a 50-50 chance, I still don't see the upside.
Same.
All right, so here's where here's where he's come into it. So he's obviously friendly with Heather Antos, and that's where he's coming at it from. She's obviously sort of said to him, you won't believe it. This guy called me a cum dumpster, for nothing, and now they're all attacking me, and and just telling, as she would, her side of the story to a friend, and he's heard it, and he doesn't need to hear anything else. The decision is made.
Why is it calling someone a name is now like the worst fucking offense?
No kidding.
It's like, Jesus Christ, it's not like he came to your house, punched you in the face, and raped your dog.
Yeah.
Well, he called you a name.
Or turned you into a cum dumpster.
Yeah. Like, you'd only be upset if you felt that you actually were a cum dumpster and they were calling you out on something.
Well, not exactly.
Thanks for the sticker, Tatsunami.
For anyone in the chat who is not familiar with some of that term was thrown in a private video that Zach did, and then the video was not kept private. It was meant to be a roast for him to blow steam after he had been harassed by tons of people, and then later afterwards, by later I mean I think it was like almost a year. I don't know the exact timing, but it was long enough, months. Zach apologized more than once, I think twice for it, and he explained that and this is not really a good apology in the first part, the way I'm going to phrase it. He phrased it much better, but he explained that cum dumpster was a military term that you call somebody who you deem to be useless. So really the insult is he's calling her useless if you take the vulgarity out of it. Then his real apology was that as he reiterated this apology again, I remember this from the second round, he did not realize how much her friends would remind her about this insult over and over and over again, so that even though she ran around crying about it like we just mentioned, he didn't know that they just keep each other stirred and nobody ever grows beyond anything. and he felt really bad about that for Heather. There you go.
Really?
Okay. All that
None
stuff.
of that matters.
None of that matters because, and you brought this up, and I'm so happy that you did, Bandita, because I said the exact same thing. This is just, we're just getting into tit for tat stuff here. Like, she called him a white supremacist. He called her that. And now Mitch is bringing it up. I don't think I'm going to read it out, but he says she is a dumpster.
Come dumpster.
Thank you for
I am
the
fucking
$2.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't hold back on anything sarcastic like that because I don't want it to be twisted. The reason I thought it was important to say what I said was the cherry picking that goes on with he did apologize. The tit for tat can go away if we just acknowledge those.
He actually says that himself. He says if someone apologizes that he's willing to accept the apology, which obviously he's not here. In the conversation I have with him, he's like, I don't like this tit for tat stuff. When someone apologizes, then it's over and done with. And it's like, okay, but
Yeah. So thank you again, Mitch. He says 100% is typical military terminology. Thank you again, Mitch, for another $2. That's very generous of you. Yeah. So this is what I was saying. Like, this whole thing cannot be built on, well, he said, she said, she did that, he did that. Like, this whole, disagreement that we have going with the mainstream cannot be built on that.
That's why I'm bringing up. Even when there are apologies, it's not let go of. It was apologized for, and here he's posting it, is what I'm getting at.
Exactly. And it's just like every time you get somewhere, they just go back to that, and it's like, and then it's a way of making sure we never move forward. I don't know if I've highlighted it in these tweets that I've got here, but I said it at some point. I said when you start going on this, all you do is go around and around and around, and you get stuck in this thing for friggin'. This happened in 2017. It's 2020. All we do is go around and around and never forward. And if there's ever going to be any bridges that get rebuilt, and I think bridges do need to get built. Not necessarily all of them. Some bridges. I don't think with this guy, but some bridges do need to get built. We can't be stuck on this whole tit for tat. He said, she said business. It doesn't lead anywhere.
You've started talking really, really fast. Is that because we're running out of time and you need to get to a point?
He has to pee.
I think we're going to have to go along anyway because there's so much stuff that I wanted to cover with this conversation. Yeah. But I think sometimes
and we keep interrupting you.
No, it's all right. You all bring up good points. Okay, so here's him declining to me. He was looking for a single conversation. Here's the thing where we all come into this agreement here that comics are for everyone, and I said couldn't agree more. That we need comics are for everyone, and we need open lines of dialogue. And then this idiot, remember him? Honeymoon's over. Anyone except women drinking milkshakes together, right? CG kid. I know how this act works. You're the reasonable side of CG, but you can't control what the wackos do. But as long as I act nice, you have to accept my hate movement. That he's obviously talking as me. So that's the weaponized niceness that.
When this was going down, Michael, for some reason I didn't see any of that Ben guy's interaction for whatever reason. I don't even know who he is.
Oh, he's just someone who came out because he saw people were talking about CG and he needed to get his little moment in.
You gotta get his rocks off.
Yeah, he inserted himself into the conversation. I mean, I guess that's what happens on Twitter, but I was talking with this Mark guy and he's come in to talk shit. But where's this really interesting one? Is it here? Or is it
Ben. No,
hey, there's Mitch. Mitch was a part of
that. Yeah,
that.
Mitch was in there.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Where's that one with you, Bandito? Here it is. Here it is.
Conversation.
Yeah, so you tweeted him, and you said, okay, so this is where you can see the complaints you were leveling against CG are clearly represented in your own fans. I Lucen Comic me, I never attacked you and kept an open door for anyone, including you. This is the mirror. And look at him. Now, we know he plays the tit-for-tat game because he just started it. And he says, sorry, I'm not going to play the tit-for-tat game. I have friends harassed long before today, very early on, when all they ever did was enjoy working in comics and drink a milkshake. I'm clean my cluttered house. I'll clean my cluttered house when you clean your super messy one. Until then, no need for posts like this.
And this is what I keep running into is the denial, because
What's police? Yeah.
it's the all they ever did. No, that's cherry picking and omitting a lot. There's a lot of denial in there.
Oh yeah, 100% denial, and putting it on me that the house is cluttered because of me, right? So, like I have
got some heavy breathing going on there, Cameron.
Sorry.
That's really not sexy.
I'm just so
I didn't
agitated.
realize we were supposed to be sexy. So this is you highlighting Honeymoon's Over's weird tweets, right? And this guy, this
Sucking
guy's
on EVS's toes.
Yeah, where is the no, it's is it here? Is it here? Okay, this is I think this is a important one to read. So this is my interaction. Hello, Mitch. See you in there. Gave you a couple of likes. Nice comments. Mitch said, Comicsgate is full of fans, both new and veterans of the hobby, as well as some of the most awesome creators around. I've been reading comics since the early 90s and came to this community because mainstream comics weren't cutting it for me anymore.
There you go.
While I still read some mainstream comics, my focus has been on supporting Comicsgate and the indie comic community as a whole. There are books for everyone out there, for everyone coming out of CG. You just have to look around. Don't buy into the hate. I said there are plenty of good books in the mainstream made by talented people. I don't have enough money to buy them while I'm busy backing superb independent creators who are guaranteed not to call me a bigot for not aligning with their worldview.
Oh, I didn't see this next comment where he's saying, have any of the creators of any of those mainstream books called you any names? If so, I'd like to know who they are. If not, I'm not sure why you can't support books from creators that have done nothing to you. Wow, I wish I had seen that.
That's
I want to know who they are. You gotta hunt them down.
Blue.
Shit.
Blue, you actually did give some names. You said, what's his face? Layman?
Yes, but there is an error in that, but we'll address that.
Okay.
Wow, this guy is like head in the sand. Holy shit.
Yeah, denial.
Completely.
Also, if you're asking for
Hey,
names,
Chris.
it kind of just means to me that you have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Like you've never been here, but like you're just figuring it out for the first time.
Yeah,
Like,
Maybe he's the
how do
new
you
guy.
not know?
There's that projection we're talking about. He's the new guy.
Yeah, he started
Yeah.
by calling us ignorant and new, and then he moves on to I don't want tit for tat, and then he asks for tit for tat.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, this guy.
Yeah. So I say yes, some directly, some indirectly. I'm not interested in dropping names publicly. I'm blocked by many others merely because of the people I follow on this site. To which he responds, you being caught up in a blockchain isn't an insult. Some of the abuse is really bad. It's done out of sanity. You shouldn't take offense to that.
Can
He
I
is
just
saying
keep
I have to
post some
abuse
stuff?
you in order to maintain my sanity is the position of some of his colleagues. I abuse others in order to stay sane is his colleague's position. Wow.
What were you going to say, Camel?
No, I mean, you always hear about this, right? Like, oh, they've said this, they've said that. And you ask for receipts and they don't have them, or they're too hard to find, or whatever the fuck. They're stupid reasoning. I'm like, what are you arguing? It's like you're coming to this gunfight with nothing. I mean, you don't even have a gun. You don't have any bullets. You got nothing, and you're just like accusing. I was like, you're not going to win any arguments if you can't show what you're accusing these people of doing.
I said, why would I support a creator who thinks so little of my business that he is happy to pretend that I don't exist, when there are hundreds of equally talented creators who are fighting tooth and nail to entertain me? It's not about offense, it's basic customer service. And I love this. I love this response. He says, I appreciate that you came to me kindly, but I'm starting to see some entitled anger coming out. It's what I was afraid of and why I avoid stuff like this. Is that, am I wrong? Did I come out angry there? Did I feel entitled?
No.
I mean, I guess it's entitled of me to expect that people who want my business, for me to support them as creators, that they not block me on Twitter for my associations and my worldview or whatever it may
How
be.
dare you?
For these,
dare you?
For these people, calling someone else entitled or privileged is akin to like the worst thing that you could. It's like the N word. It's just like, oh, I can't believe, like I just got to go like full on here.
Would.
Because they personally are usually subject to being the actual privileged, entitled person. So when they try to push it off on you, it's like they're using it only as an insult, and they mean it in the most vitriolic way possible. And I think you'll see that with all SJWs.
At least he's appreciative that you came to him kindly, as you depend upon the kindness of strangers.
Now remember, in the deleted tweet, because I know what he said because I've referenced it here, I said, I can guarantee you I'm neither angry nor vindictive. So he said CGers are angry and vindictive. This, we've just witnessed, is his definition of anger.
Of anger. Yeah.
So we know we can't trust that, of what he's talking about.
What a pussy.
If you're going to anonymously treat me like crap, I'm going to not be interested in supporting your books. Oh, that's anger.
Yeah.
No, that's
weaponized niceness.
All right. Okay. So we know his definition of anger. And now he can't talk to me because I'm not nice enough. Right?
Careful now.
We're
starting to dogpile. I'm just saying.
We remember this honeymooners over guy. He got likes on his tweet.
Ooh. People like
Where
him.
is it?
Woozy
some
Wings.
of these ones. Is it not this one? It must be another one. There's some of these tweets that that this guy himself. I don't know which one it is. I don't know, is this one? No. And now I'm saying all this stuff, and now I can't find them. I found them earlier.
Oh my.
Woozy Winks is all over it.
No. There's other ones.
Ooh.
It's where he's saying. Where's the one where he's saying what CG is?
Try the first tab.
Is it the first tab?
It's a hack group. Blue doesn't even know. He's just like randomly calling out.
No. I found them. It's all Woozy Winks now. Now I'm going to be proven an idiot.
Check tab number 3. Door number 4.
That one has 7 on it, so that's probably...
that's probably in it as well. No, now I'm totally just...
And there's Woozy Wings.
I know that this guy... See, I thought like Mark was not interacting with this weirdo at all. But I know he has liked some of his tweets, but now I can't find them, so I look like an idiot.
So
that's all right.
Honeymoon's Over guy or who?
Was that the one I just clicked on?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. Where is it? Can't find it now.
Third tab. If we need to move on.
Yeah, let's move on. It was just I can't remember which tweet it was, but it was like it was describing how CG is scammers. Did we look at that one yet?
We saw it.
The one where he says CG is a giant scam and you're scamming.
It was very early on.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was on the first tab. Maybe I've moved past it and closed it or something. You know how Twitter's like. Whatever the one that guy... It's not Donny Cates. Go away, Donny. Whatever the one where this guy, Honeymoon's Over, said, you're scamming something. I'm pretty sure he liked that one. Mm-hmm. So he was in agreement with this guy who was being very vitriolic and angry. Mm-hmm. But calling me out on my anger. Anyway, that was the point I was trying to make, but I can't find it now. As Twitter's like that.
Projection is like that.
It's also just a basic argumentative tactic that people with weak arguments use, to try to regain the upper hand. It's almost like the equivalent of, telling someone to calm down in the middle of an argument. It's like you're not doing it because you actually want them to calm down. You're hoping that they'll, burst out in anger and be even more agitated. And it's easier to win an argument when the other person's emotional.
Well, calm down, Will. We'll get to some other linguistic tricks he uses later.
That doesn't work on me. I'll take a nap.
Did you have coffee? You seem rather, worked up.
No, it's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy
I
birthday.
saw that in the thing. How old are you now? 50?
28.
Oh my goodness. Oh no! Happy birthday, I'm joking.
No, I'm 38.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. So that's that's it.
Did you want that correction, Michael?
Yes. So I
Okay.
mentioned you had named names, and you'd said that
If you-
layman guy.
Yeah, if you re-show your what you were sharing and go back to
Yep.
the third tab and scroll down,
Third tab. All right.
or it was on
You
the
gotta
third
share the
tab,
screen.
scroll down. Except
Yeah.
that you clicked another tweet, so that might rearrange them.
Yeah, that's what I.
Down.
Oh, there's Lenore, who's lost. Lenore is.
I think you have to hit back one tweet and see if it'll show up.
All right.
She's an artist on Doc's book.
Okay, here we go.
There we go.
Hey, it's Blue.
So here's one where I speak for you. I say deciding to spend a limited budget on creators who are kind to you instead of blithely blockbotting you is just common sense. It isn't entitled nor angry. Don't read into those. So there I'm accusing him of reading into it. It's the creators
Which he was doing.
winning competition for my limited budget. Mike's right. And then below, okay, it's not showing here. So what it was, where I named names was John Layman. And if we can scroll up a bit to where he asked for examples of where you've been insulted or whatnot, just so we can see specifically what he said. I named John Layman. Plenty of mainstream. Here we go.
There you go.
And I had to code the word because I'm not going to say it or spell it out. And here now, somebody, Mitch informed me, because I had muted this conversation. Mitch informed me that Layman had responded. I thought I had Layman blocked. The error. Now imagine if you have two people arguing and one of them gives the explanation I'm about to give, would the other side accept it if the other side was giving it versus if the other side was giving it? So here it is. Some insults are all right. You're right. I was thinking of another example. I should provide it. I'll stop there. I realized. Oh no, I'm talking to Mike there. Sorry about that. Okay, some insults are indirect rather than direct. I tend to forget them and shed them off. John Layman lumped me in with others, thus indirectly, and called us all. And then I've got the wrong insult here. So according to Layman, he never used that word. All right,
It was
now
a different word.
The point that Mark Brooks was looking for was, has anyone ever insulted you? It's irrelevant that I remembered the wrong insult because everyone knows Layman is back in 2018. As I said, oh, you guys can't see my mouse. In 2017, 2018, Layman was just scathing towards people, especially Comicsgate or people he disagrees with politically on either a candidate or an issue. EVS has stories about John Layman changing colors on him like that. And so if I just say, yes, he insulted us instead of giving the specific insult, which apparently I am misremembering, then that would still answer correctly here for Mark Brooks's point, which is, has anyone directly insulted you? And then the other part of what Mark Brooks asked, we'd have to go back to it if you scroll or whatever. Can you scroll up?
Basically, Layman was a big jerk.
Oh, yeah.
That's the technical term.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why you can't support books from creators who have done nothing to you. And so I gave another example and another response to this, saying I do support them. I read Joshua Williamson, who I know disagrees with me on tons of things, but we've never had a negative interaction. So I read him, as opposed to John Layman, who is just negative towards anybody who disagrees with him on anything. And so his answer to me was, I don't know who Joshua Williamson is. And that's the guy. Joshua Williamson has been writing books for quite some time. If this guy works for DC, that's a bit disingenuous. He just wrote 100 issues of The Flash. He has a creator-owned title called Birthright that was published through Image. So I'm answering two examples of these right here. We had another interaction, one more from me, and his response to that was, I didn't get into this in order to get into the weeds with you.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could find that would be wonderful, but I don't.
Yeah, there's so many different little
branches
of this thing. That's why it's hard to find stuff. But I remember seeing that. Yeah,
the language he used, and then it was something. Oh, okay, I didn't get into this to get into the weeds with you. So he's calling me in the weeds. On one hand, he did mean for this to be a one-on-one tweet back and forth with Michael. So I realize I'm invading, but
you're like a Viking.
Yeah. So so if he just wanted to say, hey, the purpose of this discussion wasn't for just everybody, I was talking to the other guy, that would be fine. But it's the diminutive language. Look for this constant diminutive language of referring to me as into the weeds when I'm answering exactly what he asked for. After that, in that same tweet, he said, let people read what they want, and then, which is an imperative. So he's giving me instructions, and then had two more instructions in the same like compound sentence. So he starts telling me what to do as if I'm a child that needs that. After I've just shown him, I do support people who disagree with me, and answering all the accusations he gave. So when you see that mentality with people, we're never going to reach them.
Well, and that really comes to the crux of it is how do you build bridges? Like there's a whole entire mainstream, there's an audience, and there are, fellow people with same interests that we have. And, a lot of them too, they don't agree with a lot of the political stuff that we see going on. Like they don't agree with the riots and that kind of stuff. There's lots of common ground, but how do we build bridges when this is the type of communication? With the tweets that he had with me at one point in time, I was just like, well, we're not going to get anything further here, but hopefully if we meet again, it'll be on more common ground. And he was like, yeah, and hopefully you change your opinion because you're missing out on a lot of books.
Totally,
and I was just like,
what? There's that diminishing language towards you again.
Yeah. And it's like, what makes you think and I actually responded back, I don't miss anything I'm interested in. So it's one of those things that's like, they don't have a way of, they don't have a way
of dealing with their own ignorance.
Yeah. And they don't want to. Like,
no,
and that's
well,
the thing.
You can't. Like when you're that far gone, you can't.
Well, you're
even
invested
open
in
your mind. Yeah, and you're dug in like a tick. I mean, like you'd have to like send these people to live in Somalia for like 5 years for them to truly to like wake up and realize. Yeah, and they're not going to gain perspective by getting in an argument with people on the internet. It's just not going to happen.
Ryan Cardinal says, no bridges, only boats, grab an oar. Yeah,
I'm all about building boats.
Look, it's a tough situation because, you know this, Carl Moon, and I'm sure a lot of people in the chat know, you don't have to be a creator. It's only going to get tougher from here on out. There's going to be more books, more competition. It's going to be harder to break in, and that means it's going to.
So with all of this stuff, since we're talking about bridges, I think because we see this in the mainstream and because we know that kind of avenue is cut off to us, I think this is what actually makes it more valuable and more important that we look to find common ground inside Comicsgate. Because we have seen a lot of division and we have seen a lot of fracturing, and it's difficult to kind of move past it when, like now we're fighting enemies within and enemies without. And I don't know for anybody else, I don't know how, that translates as to how we want to act towards each other. But I just know for myself, that's one of the reasons that I've tried to maintain as good of, what's it called? Associated connections as possible with anybody in Comicsgate.
You notice how a lot of these guys, they're mostly, they attack the Cordy Finger movement, but they're really attacking the creators. They're never attacking the patrons, right? Like,
well, it was initially.
It was like when
before we really had an independent group of creators.
Oh no, but I mean, like, yeah, sure, initially, but now, now they've all kind of gravitated towards this idea of like trying to take down, the head of the Medusa or whatever, right? So like, but it's like if you're truly trying to like change people's viewpoints, you would go after the people who were interested in Comicsgate, not the creators in Comicsgate. The creators are vested, right? We have a winning reason to stay here. But it's like, if you're trying to suggest that the mainstream is still creating good stuff, don't fucking tell me. Go tell the guy who's buying the comic.
Yeah. I'm not going to promote you. I mean, like, you're, actually, I guess this is their way of promoting. I mean, when you look at Donny Cates jumping on Twitter and being like, "I'm sorry, everybody, for all the negativity and vitriol on my platform here. I'll try to keep it more positive for you." Meanwhile, he's the one stirring shit up. I mean, that's him trying to gain clout, right? Same thing with that's what I think this whole Mark Brooks thing was.
Well, and the Shaheen thing, right? It was like,
Oh,
I'm gonna
Shaheen. Fuck that
change
guy.
the title, and then I'm going to delete all the comments.
What a little bitch.
But,
That
like,
guy's a
literally,
fucking cum dumpster.
That's the stuff you do. Like, I hate to say it, like,
Come at me, Shaheen.
that's like some 2008 internet shit.
No kidding.
You know, like, people don't do that shit anymore. It's just like, get the fuck out of here.
You could always tell that he was disingenuous, and he was always trying to ride the other side of the fence by trying to pretend like he was on everyone's side. And it's like, man, for him, that conversation he had with EVS is just like, what a little fucking bitch.
I almost wonder too if he sat there and stewed and watched every single live stream that deconstructed that entire conversation.
Oh, of course.
Because he's looking for some type of validation, and he's just getting called out over and over and over and over. And I guarantee you that's partially why he was like, I got to rename this. I got to take a win here somehow.
I think Lama Gigante, when you say Shaheen clearly has no idea how it came off, I think he was trying to. I think he was pandering to the Wade side of the crowd, and he didn't realize that crowd didn't show up. So I think that's where he made his miscalculation. He knew what he was trying to do. He just didn't realize that he didn't have the allies that he thought would be there.
Well, that's
Blue. Did you want to go through what you're sharing here?
Oh, I was showing what I talked about earlier. There were multiple branches going on. So this branch, you can't see my mouse. So this branch here isn't exactly where some of the other things about, like, I read Joshua Williamson are. I muted him.
This conversation really went everywhere. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, it had a whole bunch of branches.
But I wanted to point out here, this is very manipulative. The believe whatever you like and read whatever makes you happy, and let 3 imperatives in one run-on sentence, as if I need to be told that. Notice that's diminishing of the other person. Be really careful when you run into people like this. But how do I build bridges now with, like, say, Mark Brooks, for example? One, I have to be very careful of my interaction. So that's why in this episode, I've only been sarcastic with Will here on the panel and not sarcastic about these guys. Is they will take the sarcasm, as full insults. They have no self-aware sense of humor in that way. Or
I just thought you were always insulting me.
Yeah, or they at least won't be. They won't read it charitably at all. So I did respond to him to say, I've always let others read what they like. More importantly, I don't prevent my LCS from making a sale when someone next to me is buying a book I think is lame. That would be bad. Still curious what you thought I was assuming. There was a little bit of a mix-up.
No response.
No response. He dodged part of this because he accused me of assuming, and then there was a mix-up somewhere where I saw a response pop up in my notifications, but that response was actually to Michael, and then I answered it. But so I deleted that one because it was, he wasn't actually talking to me at that moment. As far as this goes, to build, what's really funny about when I saw John, when I was not even on Twitter, but I saw everything John Layman was doing because of EVS. I looked him up on Twitter and was just like, wow, this is really bad. And he's talking about people like me who he's never interacted with by lumping me into a group. And then I'd go to my local comic shop, and the guy would try to sell me John Layman's books because he loves John Layman. And I'm just like, no, I can't do it. And I remember one of those books sat on the shelf for over a year because I didn't want to buy it. So, yeah, Mr. Layman's behavior does turn off customers. And I don't care for any of that. The publisher is my customer. No, the shop is the customer. I'm talking about the end customer, the reader. So I'm not interested
the real customer
books because of how he's treated us. So how do I build a bridge? I have to behave well. Not great at it. These people have no grace, no charity.
No.
I will watch and see if I see someone's name, are they behaving well? Okay, and then if they are, then I look at the apparent quality of the work, or if I'm interested in the topic, and I might be able to go and actually buy a book from somebody who I think is behaving well. Like if Joshua Williamson is actually being horrendously antagonistic with people and I'm just not seeing it, then as far as I know, he's okay because I'm ignorant and I'm buying his books. But if I find out who's being horrendous towards people, I'm going to stop buying his books. It's that simple. And that's how I build a bridge, is I wait for them to calm down. You could say repent on both sides if you want, but I don't see it happening, meaning I haven't observed it happening where I'm going to go back and start buying Donny Cates again. I'm not yet.
Not yet.
I wanted to show that I wasn't losing my mind.
That's my job.
Is it here? No, it's here. Remember I showed to you. I knew. See, all I had to do was click down a little bit. I would have found it. So there's that one. He continued. That's why I didn't click through. He continued. He says, it's obvious you see the lack of legitimacy that CG built after years of harassment isn't going to pay your bills long term. He's saying that to me. You want to reap the benefits of hate bucks now and wipe the slate clean. Any guest you snag not in CG gives you a legitimacy, at least you assume. There's a lot of assumptions going on of my motivations and character in that tweet. Let's just see who liked that one.
He assumes about your assuming.
Oh, that's Daniel Kilburn. No, it's the next one. But people have talked to CG.
More replies.
It's always a dog pile, always just a way to get the scam ahead more, and it is a scam. And if you were confident, you'd have sold your book without it. CG didn't choose Indiegogo either. They were banned from Kickstarter. History won't disappear. He did like that one. There you go. So he does believe that we are scam artists, or at least he agrees with someone, that believes we are scam artists. So there are a whole lot of assumptions, on his side, and then he's accusing us of making a whole bunch of assumptions. Giganti has it right. What weird people.
Yeah, I say just let them believe whatever they want. At the end of the day, their tiny wannabe voice is not going to be enough to change anything.
And this is the problem. I mean, they are trying to ratchet up personal value, right? Like if they actually believe or come over to believe what CG is selling, just in its beliefs, then they lose. They lose all personal value. Their whole career is based upon the fact that we're wrong and they're right.
But that's not a career. There's no money in it.
Well, they think there is.
But there actually physically isn't. I mean, they can perceive their wokes being transferred to some Bitcoin, but it's not going to happen. Like they can't live off of what they're pretending to be.
They think they can. So it is in their mind. They're trying to ratchet up personal value, right? And if they are so invested, and especially with their friends, I mean, like, they will lose their entire community if they suddenly come over. This isn't like a Dan Frega scenario where he like weighed both sides and looked at what he wanted to produce and decided that Comicsgate was the way for him to go. And we're talking about people who have embittered and dug themselves in to a position where if they change their views right now, like, we're not going to accept them. They've been absolute bitches to us. And, their own friends will disown them. I mean, like, even Sean Gordon Murphy is on the chopping block if he steps out of line. Like, they're embattled. They have nowhere to go. They're literally painted into a corner.
I wanted to, this kind of brings it all to a close. This comment by Captain James Biggins. Thank you so much for your awesome comments today.
yes.
Mr. Biggins. He says, if EVS and Malin wish to be the only foundations, then the movement will crumble like an old building. There needs to be more foundations made before really growing it. Ethan sent out a tweet the other day where he was like, you know, he said he still feels, you know, that he wants to kind of promote CG and grow it and everything like that, but at the same time, you know, he says like, you know, I'm not everyone's dad, and he isn't. And, you know, it gets to a point where if every single person who wants to promote a comic book has to go, or, you know, or feels like they have to go through Ethan, or they are going through Ethan, it's just not sustainable. And he said, you know, someone asked him, well, what about books that aren't CG? And he said, you know, that I'm not talking about like full-on SJWs or you know, mainstreamers who hate CG. I'm just talking about people who, for whatever reason, don't take the label, but they're doing independent books, they're not SJWs. What about people like that? And Ethan, you know, is still pretty staunch on that. It's like, why would we help them, you know, if they're not going to kind of come on and be part of this team? And, you know, I think that's something that he can do, because he's got his own sort of, I don't want to say this because people are going to make, you know, he's got his own gravity by now. You know, he's got his own ecosystem around him, so that, you know, like, it makes sense for him. But there's other people, you know, who you know, there's more and more creators coming into CG, and it's not clear yet if the growth in fans is there to match it. And, you know, is there enough of us here to keep sustaining everything that we're doing if we're going to be closed off to people who would otherwise, you know, be open and friendly and willing to mend bridges with us if they've been broken or whatever, or you know, just sort of join in with what we're doing, even if they're not necessarily going to, you know, take on the moniker or whatever. It's like they're going to be all gung-ho about Comicsgate. I think, you know, the people with less of an audience, they're in more of a precarious situation. And you know, so I do think that it is important that, you know, we do make connections with those people. And we've had a bunch of them on this show, and I've seen Clint Stoker has also, you know, been talking to and promoting and associating with a whole bunch of people who aren't traditionally Comicsgate.
Yeah, in a way, it's really important for us to show people that Comicsgate is about comics, even though the movement is based on customer service. And that's why I'm open to buying non-Comicsgate indie books, but they can't be anti-Comicsgate, they can't be SJW, they can't be the things we're getting away from. And so that's where I'm not about. I mean, as much as I really appreciate the Comicsgate movement, I do support people who don't even know it exists, and then they walk up and say, "Hey, I have an Indiegogo campaign." Walk up figuratively, of course, and I say, "You know, this is really cool," or "That's, you know," or not, or whatever. They've got to, if they have something where they are behaving according to Comicsgate ideals, but they've never heard of Comicsgate, or they say, "I don't know, you guys have a thing going on. I don't understand what it's all part of." It's their behavior that wins me over, and their attitude, rather than the conscious adherence to understanding the label.
Yeah, and especially now as it gets, you know, I mean, internet movements or whatever this has become, you know, they don't last this long. So we're in uncharted territory right now, and the longer this goes on, the deeper the lore gets, and the more things. And you've got people now, you know, not a vast majority, but you've got a lot of people in CG now who weren't there in 2017 or 18, and some of them even 2019. So there's all this stuff that they only heard about, and then that's going to only grow and grow and grow. So it's you can't expect, you know, every new person who wants to either buy a Comicsgate book or, you know, be a Comicsgate fan, come in and be a creator or whatever. You can't expect them to, you know, be total diehards when to them it's all just sort of stories that we, you know, in jokes that we laugh about sometimes on the streams.
Yeah, the more insular we become, the worse it is for everybody in the independent side or the industry.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, steeper, you know, entry level.
The more creators that come in, the better, first of all, the better the entertainment that we end up having, and the larger pool of people that we get to hang out with. So like Comicsgate is going to grow just because creators are able to work from vision as opposed to working from resources. And when they bring in other people who have the same like-minded vision, you know, everything that's like, sorry, I got distracted by something here. You know what? Let's just cancel that thought. Move on.
Look,
Oh my goodness.
we have run over. We're an hour 20 minutes. I did want to finish and just say, I think it's important that we do try and build bridges, but at the same time, I think it's pretty abundantly clear that that side of comics, that sort of mainstream, still within the SJW, Comicsgate is a hate group side. It's a lost cause right now. Even it doesn't matter how you approach it. You know, they're set in stone, but there are people out there that, you know, I'm seeing the things kind of loosen up a little bit. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's necessary. And, you know, yeah, this whole, we don't want to be in a bubble. We can't be in a bubble because we won't survive if we're just in a strict bubble. And, you know, we're kind of guarding the gates too fiercely. You know, at the end of the day, I hate that saying, but, it's you know, it's about the books, it's about the fans, it's about all the good stuff, and you know, we need to keep the good stuff rolling. So yes, we have gone late. Thank you all so much for sticking around for an extra 20 minutes. I didn't want to end it because it ended up being too good of a discussion. I mean, I just kind of thought, hey, what are we going to talk about today if we don't have a guest? And here we go. It ends up being a great discussion. Thank you, Bandito Blue and Salute Soup, for joining us.
We have a guest.
We do have a guest, yes. Camel Moon is a guest. Well, he's kind of part of the furniture now. You know, he brings his plant and his fake plant and his
chocolate-covered cherries.
Waiting room background. What are you eating there for your birthday?
Chocolate-covered cherries.
Nice.
Like a rich person. Yeah.
Hey, see if you got Ghost, what's it called? Space Ghost?
Yeah, and the
You're gonna get
Knight,
copyright struck again.
Dark Knight. Yeah, I might. We hit 45K today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Congratulations! That happened today. Is that like a birthday present? Or?
Yeah. Well, I was on Shane's show last night, so they pimped me out, and then
Nice.
we had 2 or 3 extra people since then too. So on our way to 50 grand.
Definitely
Fantastic.
go check out Hail Salad
Yeah,
Awesome.
so I was excited.
if you haven't. Yeah.
If you don't know who I am.
Yeah, it's not Salute Soup. Don't Google Salute Soup. You will only find a tweet with a couple of sad men sharing gifts with each other. Yes, bye everyone. Peace out. To the sexiest chat in Comicsgate. You guys have been amazing as always. Thank you so much for the you know, just keeping it so lively and the fantastic comments. It's been a really good show there. I've really enjoyed it. And we will see you tomorrow. We do have a guest. I got it wrong last night. I thought it was tonight. It's not tonight. It's tomorrow night. And you are going to love it. I can guarantee. This is a real get. I'm so happy that this guy's coming on the show. So make sure you tune in tomorrow. It's going to be great. And we will see you then. All right.